Hello everybody, how is it going today? Today is it's actually March the 22nd now, it's about midnight, and we're going to talk about EOS. And the reason why we're going to talk about EOS is because it's been very profitable trading it, right? It's been very profitable, it's made some monstrous gains, probably much more than any other coin from my experience and from what I see at least in the past few days on bitfinex. It's actually gained a monstrous 90% gain. And because it's gained so much in terms of percentages and it's been very profitable, I think it's important for us to make note of it and give it respect because it's definitely due. So the way I'm going to approach, actually let's take a look at CoinMarketCap first of all. I'm just pulling it up on my other monitors. Okay, on CoinMarketCap, EOS is number 7. It overtook NEO by quite a bit. Usually Cardano, EOS, and NEO, they alternate between 6, 7, and 8, but EOS has been just stellar, put it that way. No pun intended to XLM. So 15% gain up, guys. It's one of the only coins that's been icon as well, right? ICX is just incredibly doing well. So EOS in the past few hours, or historical data, let's take a look at it. We're trending at about $859 million. It's been steadily increasing in terms of volume, so the general public is actually extremely interested in it right now. And can we blame them, right? Can we blame them for being interested right now? I mean, we take a look at the percentage gain, and man, it's been super profitable trading it. It's been pretty much the main coin I've been trading. Bitcoin has been kind of in a lull, and it hasn't really been fun trading Bitcoin, as you guys know. So why trade a coin like Bitcoin when there's a lot of other coins that are just doing a lot better, right? We have to see altcoins as when, let's say Bitcoin goes up 10%. What an altcoin will generally do is go up by 10% and multiply by a factor. So that's important to understand, that just because Bitcoin moves up or down 10% doesn't mean the altcoins will move up or down 10%, right? EOS has been notorious for gaining a huge percentage whenever Bitcoin does very well. So we're going to do a very detailed Elliot wave count. And the way that I'm seeing this first Elliot wave count is like this. I see it as 1, I see this as 2, this whole region, 3, 4, and 5. And you know, I didn't really play it until about today, right? Actually, I played it from about this structure right there. So it hasn't really been on my radar until about today. So it's actually slightly uptrending right now as well. I'm in a pretty small position right now. It looks like it's pushing its way up, and let's just see how well this can do. It might be because Bitcoin is on a slow rise. Nope, Bitcoin is fairly neutral right now. So EOS has been one of the coins that's just been having a mind of its own right now, and I'm very happy about that. Can't really complain in the least. So if we actually go out to a very high time frame, like a 12-hour chart for example, let's identify some key resistances and supports first of all. What ended up signaling a massive rally was a break basically above the CMA, right? As soon as we broke around the $6 range, it was game on. And and we just look at the level 2 order book, right? It's just all green all across the board right now. They're rallying, and I'll get to there as well. So we're going to identify some key resistances and supports on a log scale actually, and we're just going to talk about some possibilities that it can actually reach. So if I just draw my resistance like that, what we easily see is that, yeah, that's a major resistance that it can reach, right? And even if you looked at it right here, what we see is we're about halfway there, right? Halfway there, would you guys admit? Yep, definitely you would. Not much to disagree with there. Now, if we go on a log scale here as well for Bitcoin, what you guys will notice is if we draw our log resistance, just kind of like that, right? Make sure it's on log. What you guys also see is that Bitcoin is about halfway there as well. Interesting, right? So what can happen is that if Bitcoin reaches 10K, then it's very logical to assume that EOS could also reach its natural target of where it could possibly get up to, like around, I'm more so guessing around the $9 range, okay? Around the $9 range. And let's see, based on Elliot wave, if that's actually a possibility. And so it's really important to deduce all possible paths. Let's maybe go to 1 hour chart, see if it's a little bit better. Yeah, 1 hour chart's a lot better. So how you guys should have played this always is breakout, okay? On a breakout. This was a clear region where this could have potentially broken out. So let's take a look at it right there, right? As soon as it broke out of these key regions, pretty much, we'll say whatever that high is, $4.81, that's where you should have bought into strength. Now, where would you have targeted? Well, first of all, you would have counted this as your first Elliot wave, and you're just going to kind of draw it randomly first. Okay? Draw it wherever randomly, and then you take your Fibonacci extension tool from the beginning of wave 1 to wave 2 to wave 3. And what you guys see is actually perfect targets. Not just perfect targets, but literally perfect targets. You target the wave 3 at the 1-to-1, and then you target the wave 5 right here at the 1618 region. And bam, you now officially have your 5 waves going upwards. And that was really easy to play, I think, for tons of people. Then after that happens, you simply say, all right, well, let's take our Fibonacci extension tool from the bottom, or not extension, our Fibonacci retracement tool from basically the bottom to the top over here. And then we're going to try to buy back in a region with activity. Well, usually it retraces around to the wave 4 territory, right? So you'd want to make note of these regions right there, because this right here acted as a major support and lots of activity there. That would have been a very good place to buy on a breakout, right? Or not on a breakout, sorry, at support rather. So because you've now officially entered a position there, hold on, I'm just opening up my Bitcoin chart as well. I want to make sure I'm tracking Bitcoin and how well it's doing. So now that we've officially confirmed our wave 1 and our wave 2, let's just draw it in for consistency. So that's wave 1 and that's wave 2. Now the next thing that we simply do is we say, all right, well, that one hit a specific target of the 1-to-1 and the 1618 of simply waves just 1, right? So now we do the exact same thing on a larger degree. Take your Fibonacci extension tool, do something like that as well, okay? So what we see is the next logical target for it to hit is roughly 1-to-1 up here, right? First of all. So that's a very viable target for it to hit. And if you actually this trend line, I'm not really digging it the way I'm drawing it. So let's draw it a little bit better, okay? I'm going to actually slope it a lot more. That wasn't on log earlier when I drew that, I don't think. So kind of like that, right? So if we actually just intersect the majority of the points that we can as best as we can around the 618 level. Actually, I'm doing it entirely wrong. Just give me a moment here. Perhaps around like this, right? What we see is that the 618 level is also exactly where we could get up to. Not likely. We're more likely to trend up to one of these regions over here, I'm guessing. I don't know if it's actually going to break it or not, but it's definitely going to be worth our time to make note of, okay? So I'm also in a trade right now as well. I've been live trading in front of you guys quite often, if you've noticed, right? So let's see what kind of profit I can make here in front of you guys, okay? This is the live trade that I'm in, and the reason I entered this trade is because I'm noticing a clear support and resistance trend line, and they are so obvious to me that it almost makes sense to not enter it, right? Sorry, it makes no sense to not enter it. So as soon as we saw this bounce right there, it was evident that, hey, we're probably going to end up trending to the top of that line again, right? This resistance and support. So I basically entered a trade right around here, of course, right? As soon as I saw a bounce on this red candle. Now, is it likely for us to get to this top? Yes, very likely. So I'm just going to set my, level around here, around the 715 mark, which will end up giving me a $200 profit because we're already just ticking upwards and people are buying into it already right now. And I would like to get about $200 of profit into this trade right here. So it's very likely for us to hit it. And let's see during this trade if I can actually get there. We're at a $14,000 position right now. Okay, so if I sell it, 715 minus 705, that could easily be a $200 profit right there. Okay. Now Bitcoin's also doing very well. It's trending upwards. So there's a very likely chance for us to hit it. we're getting kind of a shooting star slash doji. Lots of indecision right now. So I might actually want to take my profit a little bit early. I might want to undercut that last guy just in case we don't get there, right? And we end up breaking out instead. I mean, there's only about 5,000 people in front of me, or 5,000 coins, which is really not that much. So let's just look at the order book together and slowly see if we're going to trend up there. I hope you guys are enjoying my live trades incorporated with my technical analysis as well. I believe that traders should be very transparent, right? Yeah, they should be 100% transparent. We're getting kind of a bearish candle right here already, okay? Right, but we're getting like the smallest crossover, so it might actually be the end of the uptrend. We're gonna see if it's actually gonna push up a little bit more. We're gonna go to micro level on a 1 minute chart. So we see it kind of spiking up here now. People are definitely interested in it, okay? People are buying right here, so it makes no sense for me to even put it there. We just got to get to a higher high for candles right there, so people are more interested in buying it. If you guys notice, just looking at the level 2 order book here, right? I had a chance to sell it already around the 12 region, but I believe that we're still going to get there before we decide if we actually break out of there or not. So let's just leave it around 715 for now, and we'll come back to this when there's more conclusive data. So this is a very viable target, right? Around, we'll say about, you know, I don't have enough data to give you guys an exact number, but I'm hoping for somewhere around at least $8, okay? I'm just gonna say that up front right now, around $8. So it's still green all across here. Everything is looking very good. There's really not that much people that are selling right now. It looks like it's trending up there very slowly, and that's what these coins have a reputation of doing. It just trends very slowly upwards. Now no one's buying in the 12 regions, if you've noticed. They're only buying around the 710 region, right? So yes, I'm in profit right now. So, you know, we're getting people buying incredibly small amounts right here. We gotta look at Bitcoin and realize, hey, you know, it's facing some resistance right now, and it's not really uptrending that much anymore. So we gotta see if what Bitcoin's gonna do as well. Is it actually gonna go up? Like Bitcoin just actually had a little bit of a sell-off there, sold off about $40, and of course that might affect it might affect the EOS a little bit as well, right? So I kind of regret not taking my profit up there. I don't know if we're gonna actually get up there or not, but Bitcoin now, people just spiked it up a little bit, right? So we might even get a huge spike to the 14 ranges. So let's say that it does spike up to the 14 ranges. I want to be ready for it, right? There's not really that much liquidity right now. See here, I'm the biggest guy here that's stacking up, right, at 2,000. I put only 199.99 there, or 1,999.99, because I leave one coin left over always, or a fraction of it. This way it reflects my profit in front of you guys. So let's see if this is actually going to work out here. Bitcoin right now is kind of, it's green. People are buying, that's for sure. Okay, if we see Bitcoin here, I'll just put up a chart so you guys can see that it is green across the board. People are buying very slowly, but nevertheless the spread is not the best. So here we're down ticking now. Are we actually going to get there? It's a big question, right? Hopefully this curves over very soon. We're on the negative side of the histogram. So let's go to a 3-minute or 5-minute chart, for example, just to get a much more detailed view. It's not really upticking that much, guys. It's a super slow histogram tick that's actually curving over already. And there we go. We're starting to downtrend a little bit, right? No one's really buying right now. So what I want to do is not scare the market with a really big order. I might actually even take my profit, guys. Right? I'm going to take my profit, just put it at 712 or something, and just hope that some people FOMO. If some people FOMO, that would be great. But the last thing I want is to trend to a very low amount, like all the way down here again. I don't want to touch this. I would like it to retrace very slightly only to perhaps even my profit line, right? So let's see. This is a big amount of buys right there. This guy's got 30,000. That's 30,000 times 7, so that's a $210,000 order that he's got right there. So Bitcoin right now is just going sideways. It's figuring out what it wants to do. It's not really going up right now, and because of this lack of direction for Bitcoin, it's easy to say that other coins are also confused. That's why we're not really getting any type of upward momentum for EOS as well. Despite it having a brain of its own and generally doing its own thing, well, it can only do its own thing so much sometimes when the market is deciding, hey, is it actually going to go up? Is it actually going to go down? So if I actually sold it earlier at right here, my target, okay, at 712 there, well, I would have been in profit $100 something. So these guys are interested in buying. If you notice, right, they just bought a pretty good amount. It must have mean Bitcoin is slowly going upwards as well, right? Okay, now I just closed my position by, not accident, but it's pretty decent what I sold it at. And there we go. We just ended up closing the position together. I just made $135 in front of you guys. Pretty good trade, I have to admit. Thank you very much for being patient with me and watching it. I'm gonna take my $135 profit, click on my close market position right there. So yeah, whether it goes up there or not, I always take my small profit. So there you go, that's $135 in my pocket. Not too bad at all. What was my risk to reward for that situation? Let me show you guys what the risk to reward would have been, okay? So the risk to reward for that specific situation right there would have been something like this, okay? Now I could have targeted a lot higher, but I don't want to take that risk, okay? So if I drew my trendline resistance right here, for example, right? And I drew something like that. We'll just say consider some of these regions a bull trap. Well, my risk to reward was very acceptable, okay? To me, it was very acceptable. I entered it at 705, okay? I was going to target something around there, but I chickened out, as you guys saw, for a tiny little gain. And my stop loss would have been around there. So my risk to reward was actually really good still at 1.72. But realistically, in my mind, I was targeting around 712 there, which I sold around 711. So my risk to reward was 1.0 or 1-to-1 basically. To me, I win a lot more than 50% of my scalp positions. And because I win more than 12%, or sorry, 50% of my scalp positions, I probably win about 80-90%, believe it or not, as you guys have seen in my live trades, how I work, right? I've been trading for a while now, so we develop these skills over time. So don't think of this as ever bragging or anything like that, right? I like to show you guys by walking the walk and talking the talk. There's nothing worse than a trader saying he can trade when he never makes profits in front of you guys, right? Anybody can paper trade, right, and be successful at it, in my opinion. But if you actually want to see people in action, that's one of the really good ways to learn. You learn by watching other people trade, because then you can also get lots of information from them, right? It's like watching, you're an athlete and you're watching like a summary of your game, or you're watching your game over, or you're watching another team play. You try to develop your skills and you try to learn from them as well. So yeah, that was a really good trade. That was my risk to reward 1-to-1. And I'm perfectly okay with taking trades that's at a 1-to-1 ratio there. I forgot how much I made, like 150 or something. That was a decent trade, I have to admit. Not bad. I'm not too unhappy with that. I've now earlier today, if you guys remember from my live stream, I took an $800, I think it was 800, it might have been 600, I can't remember. I took like a $600 to $800 loss there. I tweeted it as well for the people that follow me. Let me just show you guys my tweet. I'm very transparent with it because I want to make sure that you guys understand that we don't always want to show our wins, okay? We don't always want to show our wins because it's not real, guys. Like, if you're always winning as a trader, you got to make sure you understand that this is a marathon and this is not a sprint, okay? We're always going to lose trades, but the lessons that we learn from losing a trade, it's invaluable. So if you guys are a new trader, make sure you're only playing a small percentage of your wallet. Do not even think for a moment that you need to play big to win big. That is absolutely untrue, okay? You got to play for the experience first, because those losses are going to come. Trust me, guys, they're going to come and they're going to take you by storm. So if you try to minimize your losses by playing a small amount, it's the best way to learn, in my opinion. We have to learn how to protect our capital. We have to learn how to preserve it. We have to learn how to grow it. So these are very important skills to preserve and grow our money and to make it a lot bigger, right? So a lot of people think that it's all about charting. It's all about learning how to be a good technical analyst. But if someone were to ask me what is probably the most valuable thing, or most my best strength as a trader, it would be to manage my risk right? Managing your risk allows you to grow your money. You don't want to be going all in every single time, right? So if you guys take these little baby steps where you're playing very small amounts, it's going to allow you to grow your income substantially. So if I could tell any newer trader, general advice, I would tell them to please make sure you understand that risk management is the most important thing that you can focus on. Don't focus on patterns as much as you guys need to think you need to. Don't focus on charting. Focus on how to control your emotions, because trading is literally an overwhelming state of controlling your emotions. Now, what differentiates the best traders between amateur traders, right, or not as good traders? If the most brilliant people in the world are trading, right, you're coming from Harvard, MIT, whatever, right, whatever Ivy League or Brown or whatever background you have, whether it's business, finance, math, engineering, whatever, okay, law, who knows? What differentiates these brilliant people in the market? Why do some of them succeed and why do some of them fail? Well, the answer is simple. It's because of emotional stability, right? You got to be solid in this game. Despite you guys seeing me have a ridiculous sense of humor, right? That's outrageous and over the top. When I trade, guys, I'm like a Buddhist, right? I'm like a Buddhist. My mind is like a temple. I'm solid when it comes to maintaining my strict risk management, and risk management allows you to throw your emotions out the window. You don't think with emotions when you have a solid game plan. Every time you enter a trade, you need to understand exactly why you entered the trade and also exactly where you're going to exit it as well, right? You know when to enter, where to exit, what your exact risk to reward ratio is. You got to understand the exposure in the market as well, and you have to put yourself in a comfortable position. And the only way to be comfortable is to negate your emotions by understanding that this is a game of probability, and we have to make sure we understand risk. So anyways, that was kind of a big spiel. So my loss that I took today was this one right here, okay? It might have been 800. I wrote I'm up 3.8K today, which I am, right? I'm up $3.8 thousand today, but I took a $600 loss. Boohoo, like I care. Just trying to be transparent. Shorted EOS with a very, very risky, barely 1-to-1 ratio trade, right? So if you guys look right here, I shorted from around $7 and I added more at 7. There's even more, but you don't see it. This one was a big position. It was about 5,000 EOS, I believe. So I was in a $35,000 position, right? And I shorted from around 712. Now let me give you guys an exact example, right? I shorted it around 712, which was, right here, okay? Or $7 is 712, and it got up to here, and I thought it was actually going to break it, but it didn't break it. So then when you look back on it, I could have said to myself, oh, I could have held and I would have broken even, right? And actually I would have made a lot of money. If I held, I would have made like $500-600, but I stuck to my risk to reward. Simple as that, okay? I stuck to my risk to reward, and my risk to reward went something like this. My average price was about 703, said and done. And my stop loss, or it was in a short position, not a long. My short position was around 703. Now my target was going to be a simple 1-to-1 actually. It was going to be, it was actually incredible, the risk to reward. So starting from about right there, okay, actually from even lower, that's where I took my fib. It was going to be something like right there. So I would have made like 5% on 35K. So I was going to make roughly $1,400. And I said to myself that, you know what, I'm going to stick to my stop loss right around 716, 717. And where did it get to, guys, right? I'll show you guys where I closed my position. Oh yeah, it's on my Twitter. I closed my position around 717 to 719. I market executed it as soon as it hit 716. Okay, as soon as it hit 716, I market executed it and I closed my position right up there at the top. Well, what if I say in hindsight, right, that yeah, if I held, it would have actually hit this part right here only for EOS, but what if it actually ended up skyrocketing? Do you know what I mean? So we can't ever say things like, oh yeah, if I had held, and let's say you end up closing your position because you're in a long position, and then you say to yourself, oh, and it goes down, right? It goes down a lot, and you decide to take a loss, and then all of a sudden it starts going up now, and then you say to yourself, oh wow, if I had held, it would have actually, I would have made a lot of money. Well, that's a bad mentality, right? Because what if it kept dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping to the point where you were not able to control your hold anymore, and it was just at a catastrophic loss? And then you would have, you know, cut your position at a really crappy price, right? So what if I actually held and it went really, really far up and I was in that situation? Then that's not really good. So my risk to reward ratio during my $600 or $800, I'll just say $600 loss, okay? It was perfect in my eyes where I cut my position. I'm probably the guy that spiked it up there a little bit, because when you close your short position, you have to buy, right? And there's not really that much liquidity, so I probably spiked up the market right there, which is funny. So I hope you guys are understanding the risk to reward. So sure, I took like a $600 loss, but I could have made way more money as well, right? So it's really okay in my eyes as well, to make sure that we understand the risk to reward. And I'm okay taking these losses, because these losses, they really do strengthen you over time as a trader, okay? So if you guys are new to my channel, you will know already right now that I don't just talk about trading. I don't do technical analysis. I don't do just giving you guys calls. What I do is I actually try really hard, guys, to improve you as a trader. That is my goal. I want you guys to become a self-sufficient trader, and I want to teach you guys what I know. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying whatsoever that I'm better than anybody in any way, okay? I don't see myself in that way at all, right? I'm not saying that I know more than everybody and my way is the best way to learn. But what I am saying is that I've got some experience in the market, okay? And that we have to learn from multiple people, right? If you learn from multiple people, you will eventually develop and formulate your own style of trading. And your style of trading or swing trading or investing is usually suited to your personality. It really does, guys. It matches your personality, okay? So yeah, I just want to give advice to people, you know, because when I was starting out new, I really wished, guys, that that I had some help, put it that way. There wasn't really the reason why I made my YouTube channel is because I really want to show people what I've learned, because I wish I had someone, or wish I had people on YouTube when I first started out, right? There, trust me, guys, like when I started out, there were no YouTubers doing cryptocurrency technical analysis. So I said to myself, well, you know, it'd be pretty cool if I can actually offer some sort of advice to people that are new in the market, right? That are just kind of coming in, because, well, I wish I had it as well, put it that way. So yeah, I just gotta give you guys a little spiel about myself as well, and the reason why I do YouTube. So if we take our Fibonacci extension tool, right, we can see that it could possibly hit up to these regions over here, where this one hits kind of a 1-to-1 mark around, say, the $7 range, right? That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? $7 range right there. And then this one could possibly end up trending down to one of these regions here, right? And then when this will be when Bitcoin corrects to like the 8,750, 8,500 range or whatever. And then when Bitcoin goes to 10K, we've got a chance to hit about, we'll say 850-ish, okay? We'll say about 850 range right there. Okay, not $9, we'll say 850. And then this will officially complete our Elliot waves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is just hypothetical though, keep in mind always, okay guys? It's always not going to be laid out as beautiful as this. This is just more so a hypothetical path where I'm giving you guys possible scenarios. Excuse my lack of energy. It's been a long day, put it that way, of trading. It's very exhausting, right? And as you guys know, I do this for 16 hours a day, and to me, it's like a video game. I don't see trading as trading, right? As work. I literally get to stay home and I get to trade and be my own boss, which is quite awesome. We gotta look at Bitcoin really quickly to see what it's doing. Okay, 9,000, it's not breaking. So then if we look at EOS here, right? You guys see the price for EOS? It actually ended up downtrending to below my price. So if you guys notice, that's also skill involved, right? It's skill involved where I decided to take profit. I was probably the last person who got profit. If you guys look at where I sold, where did I sell it? I sold it at $7.12, right? And I sold it at midnight at 12:14. So where's 12:14 on the clock right here, guys? 12:14 on the clock is right here. Look at the time on the bottom. This is 12:14, and look at the high. Okay, look at the high right there at 12:14. That's $7.127. I sold it at 7.12. So I just kind of had a gut instinct, as you guys saw there, where we were gonna kind of slightly downtrend. And as a scalper for my strategy, I focus on playing these tiny little bounces to capitalize on it. So that also comes with a lot of intuition, right? That is why if you're trading, never scalp, guys. Never ever scalp, because it takes a lot of experience and you will get destroyed in the market if you don't have the experience, okay? So please progress very naturally to scalping. It will come over time if it's a strategy that you're interested in, and I will help you guys get there. But until you guys can swing trade successfully, until you can day trade successfully, I cannot help you guys become a better scalper, okay? Think of it as a natural progression where you have to get good at one thing to eventually move on to the next level. So this is kind of where I'm looking at EOS right now, right? I'm seeing EOS, you know, correct soon, guys. I'm seeing it correct soon. If I go to a very micro level, okay, like right here, I simply just see this as 5 waves. It's so easy to see. See this as waves 1, 2, 3, 4, and I see this as 5. I'll change this to a larger degree so we can understand it better. I see this right here as ABC coming down, okay, A, B, and I see this as C, and I see this simply as 5 waves going upwards, right? I see this as 5 waves going upwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I see this as 5 right there. And the way that I'm seeing this right here is unfortunately ABC, if I'm right, okay? If I'm right, this is making some sort of perhaps an ABC pattern where it will touch the trend line to maybe $5.70 or so right here at the support trend line. We use this area as a hard resistance just in case it does get there, because we've had so much trouble breaking out of here as a resistance. It actually acts as a hard support now. So worst case scenario, this could get down to over there, okay? So I don't expect a breakout. I want to be very clear about that, okay? But another thing that it could possibly do is it might do the exact same thing. Notice this kind of formed an ascending triangle. Well, this one could form an ascending triangle as well. And if we go into a very small time frame like how I did earlier, we notice that this could be an ascending triangle, right? Just something like that. So this could very well also have retraced already, okay? If that retraced already, then our wave 3 structure is actually complete, and we have only retraced a 382 Fibonacci level right there. Now, if that were the possible case, then this one right here could have just simply made an ABCDE type of pattern for an ascending triangle. Okay, just something like that, perhaps, right? You know, something like that, and then it breaks outwards. Okay, so just to give you guys an idea, that's a possible scenario as well, right? So I just really want to be very clear that there's many possible paths. I mean, this could have made the ABC where we trend to somewhere like, you know, 670 all the way even down to 630. So this is not like a prediction type video. This is more so like well, it is a prediction video, but it's also heavy technical analysis with multiple perspectives, right? So because we're only seeing right now, we're seeing only you know, 3 subwaves. We see I drew all these in already, right? We're seeing only 3 possible waves. 1, 2, 3. There's no way we can see 4. I don't see 4 anywhere, right? So because I see it like here, unfortunately I've got to look for one more, whether this was right or not, and this is now making the ABC, or this one here is making ABC or an ascending triangle. Either way, I do see a correction soon, guys. But the main goal of this video is to show you guys how we could have got to $7.72, and the next possible target is, you know, probably around $8.50. So that's kind of where I stand long term on it. I'm fairly bullish on it. So let's clear all this up. Now that you guys have a very good gauge of where this could possibly go, I want to talk about the daily candle close, okay? Daily candle close was fantastic. Fantastic right now. We're going to find a lot of resistance here, guys. Trust me, okay? We found a lot of resistance here right now because of these areas, right? Of these price activity areas, there, here, here. Now the next region that we're going to find a lot of resistance is going to be about $7, and you know, these regions right here, okay? This region is going to offer massive resistance around $7.67, $7.70, which also happens to be where the 55 EMA is on a daily. So we've got a lot of going to higher highs, lots and lots to do before we can get there. So if we look on the 3-hour chart as well, sorry, let's just go to a 12-hour chart and look at all the indicators one by one. We're definitely uptrending very parabolically. We've also broken outside of this resistance area, right? That RSI resistance, so we're definitely doing very well. It had hesitation there, then came down. So EOS is actually one of the most bullish coins on Bitfinex right now. We're almost reaching oversold zones right now already. It's about 70. 3-hour chart, it's actually bearishly diverging. That's why I do expect a correction soon, guys. Right? It's bearishly diverging because we're getting a series of a lower high, but what we're getting is actually higher price action. Right? This region is clearly higher than there, but RSI will indicate that it's losing strength. The histogram cannot tick up nearly as much anymore. On a 2-hour chart, it's very oversold, right? It looks like it's about to come down actually, doesn't it? So I cannot help but be slightly bearish towards here in the very, very short term. I'll be looking to buy. I'll talk about where I expect to buy and my different scenarios. We look at 1-hour chart, it's definitely oversold, right? Extremely oversold. Okay, looks like there's about to be a MACD crossover. Might not be significant to some people, but some are MACD crossover players. So here we're about to get to the negative histogram. So when we get to negative histogram, there tends to be a big sell-off. If we get there, keep note of it. Right here, possible crossover very soon in the next about 2 hours at most. Here it's already crossed over, right? But because, like I mentioned, of that bullish scenario where this could be an ascending triangle, well, it might not be an actual crossover that comes down a lot, okay? So we've kind of gone through everything. The volume is slowly fading, as we can see. So my goal, guys, is I will buy the breakout, right? I will buy the breakout well above, you know, say between 720 and 730. If it breaks out of there, great. Our next target's around 750, 760 ranges, okay? So that's how I plan to play it. Now, if it actually corrects, and there's one more subwave, then I would be taking the Fibonacci of this structure right there, okay? And I would be looking to buy, you know, maybe here at the EMA, but most likely I'll be looking to ladder my buys. It's a pretty big range from 673 all the way to 639. We don't really know where it's going to level off to yet, right? This is just a guess. Sell-off's going to happen very differently. So there's a lot of options right now, right? You wait for a breakout and then you buy into strength, or you simply just wait for a correction as well. Then you start laddering your buys between these regions. So I just want to give you guys an update on EOS. I apologize if it was really long. I also wanted to do that live trade and just talk a little about philosophy, etc. with you guys as well. But my target stands, guys, that you know, my target stands where we could get up to $8.50 there. So thank you very much for watching the video. I appreciate all the love and the support. If you guys love the material that I'm making, please like, subscribe, share, and also upvoting on Steemit. If you guys want to especially let me know I'm killing it in the market and helping you guys because you're killing it, don't ever donate something ridiculous, guys. I mean it, okay? Don't ever donate something like an extreme amount. You know, you guys are welcome to buy me a coffee. You guys are welcome to buy me a small lunch in that way, just to appreciate what I'm doing. But, you know, some people like to do that just to say thanks. But other than that, it's not necessary. It's never needed. I think you guys know that I do pretty well in the market since I'm that transparent. But I always bring that up because sometimes people ask me about it. How do I say thanks? And that's it. It's a $2 coffee. That's all. Have yourselves a great day, and thank you very much for joining me always. Bye now.